But what happens after that? What happens after the marriage supper of the Lamb? And there's rejoicing and celebration. But let's notice what happens next. Jude 1 and verse 14. And Enoch also, the seventh from Adam, prophesied of these, saying, Behold, the Lord comes with 10,000s of his saints. Now this is fascinating. The Lord comes where? Back to this earth to complete his 3.5-year ministry. And he comes with 10,000s of his saints. Okay, so in order for him to come with 10,000s of his saints, they have to be resurrected. And that's the reason the two witnesses are resurrected at that moment. Okay, to do what? Why are we coming back to this earth with Christ? Next verse, 1 and verse 15. To execute judgment upon all, and to convince all that are ungodly among them all of their ungodly deeds which they have ungodly committed, and all their hard speeches which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. This is the beginning of Christ's second ministry. Revelation 19 and verse 15, out of his mouth goes a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God. And he has on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Okay, next verse, verse 17. And I saw an angel standing in the sun, and he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, all the unclean birds up there, the vultures, come gather yourself together unto the supper of the great God. So what's going on here? God, this angel in symbolism is calling out to all the unclean birds of the air, and he's saying, look, God's going to have a great supper. Well, what's for dinner? All right, verse 18. That you may eat the flesh of kings, the flesh of captains, and the flesh of mighty men, and the flesh of horses, and them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great. Yeah, Jesus is going to have a great supper. And what's going to be served is roast man. Does this fit your concept of Jesus Christ? For a lot of people, it does not. Well, I can't believe that. Christ, this is part of Christ's second ministry that will last for 3.5 years. And at this point, the 7 vials of God, which is referred to as the wrath of God, is poured out on mankind. Now, by this time, we're resurrected. And the Bible clearly states that we are not to suffer the wrath of God. All right, these 7 vials are referred to as the wrath of God that's poured out on mankind on the earth. Okay. We're not a part of that because we've been resurrected by this time.
Check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.